Hi, everyone, and welcome to Story Station with Words Alive. It is Monday, May 18th, and guess what? Sharing stories with you is our favorite part of the day because we know that stories connect us, and that when we feel connected and when we think and talk about the things we read together, we become better thinkers, and that is a great thing to be. Every day on Story Station, we do two important things to help get ready to read our story. First, we get our body ready so that we can take that story in. And then we sing our special song to help us remember what people like the author and illustrator do. Let's get our bodies ready first. Can you make a letter C with your hands? Shaped just like this and just like this. Great. Now, let's bring them to our ears and put on your listening ears and turn them up so that you can hear all the words to our story. Now, let's get our eyes ready so that we can look at all the important details in the illustrations. Okay, let's make a letter O with our hands. Good job. Now bring them to your eyes and hook them in really, really good so that you can see all the great things in those pictures. Now, very important, let's turn up our voice box so we can hear what you have to say about the story where we're going to read together. Very nice. Here's what we're going to read today. Before we read the story, let's talk about what the author and illustrator do. If you have a book at home, go get it so that you can follow along with me while we sing. Or you can use the book that I have here by pointing to the parts as I sing. Are you ready? Let me hear your singing voice. La 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 la. What a beautiful singing voice. Are you ready? We're going to sing about the author, the illustrator, where the title's located, and what this little skinny part here of the book does. The title's on the front, the title's on the front. Hi ho, Biblio, the title's on the front. The author writes the words, the author writes the words. Hi ho, Biblio, the author writes the words. The illustrator draws, the illustrator draws. Hi ho, Biblio, the illustrator draws. Now here's that little skinny part. Do you remember what it's called? Yes, the spine. You're so good. The spine binds the book. The spine binds the book. Hi ho, Biblio, the spine binds the book. And now it's time to read. Oh, now it's time to read. Hi ho, Biblio, oh, now it's time to read. Excellent work. Our bodies are ready. We've talked about what the author and illustrator do. Let's see what happens. Today's story is called Side by Side by Rachel Bright and Debi Gliori. Rachel Bright is the author. She wrote the words. Debi Gliori is the illustrator. She drew the pictures. Today's story is read with permission from Scholastic. Scholastic, thank you so much for your support of families and educators while we're learning at home. This story, Side by Side, is a sweet story of friendship and finding someone you connect with, that you can share the world with. Our character, little Mouseling, finds a new friend, and I want you to think while we're reading about who is important to you. Who do you enjoy telling things about the world? Who do you enjoy spending time with while we're learning together at home? It might be a brother or sister. It might be grandma. It might be your teacher who you see when you get on your computer to do some of your schoolwork. Let's talk about that at the end. Side by Side by Rachel Bright and Debi Gliori. Ooh, look at that! We've already got something interesting. They make a little seesaw out of the things they can find in the forest. Deep in the heart of Wintermouse Wood, down in the grass where the autumn trees stood, lived all kinds of creatures, some big and some small, some spiky, some furry, some short, and some tall. Here's all our animals in the woods. And here was a family of mouserly folk who nestled in burrow holes down under an oak. And the teeniest, weeniest, youngest of those, who had sticky out ears and whiskerly nose, was named Little Mouseling. She had a huge heart. She loved times together, not ever apart. Here she is. This is Little Mouseling. She's the smallest one in her family. Do you see that big table full of mice? She must have a big family. Lots of brothers and sisters, or maybe aunties and uncles who live with her. No wonder she likes to be with other people. She's got a lot of people at home. But being so small, she was sometimes left out when her brothers and sisters went up and about. She would scurry and skip as fast as she could, but they scattered so far across Wintermouse Wood. Wait for me, she would sing. Don't run, oh, don't hide. Is there nobody here who will stay by my side? Now, friends, I want to give you something to look for with your really good looking investigator eye. Remember, we look for clues and ideas in the illustrations. And you remember our friend? We're going to start seeing him on every page. So keep an eye out for him, okay? Well, in Wintermouse Wood, you don't have to wait long for one or another to answer your song. Oh, do you see him? Oh, here he is behind the grass. I'll stay by your side. Be a friend when you need, came the voice of Toad Flip, who is down in the reeds. We could bounce up and down and do backflips and jumps and then plop in the water and cool down our rumps. Rump is a funny word for your bottom. How lovely, she said, since she longed to dive in. I do like to bounce, but this mouseling can't swim. Oh, rats. I guess maybe a frog swimming in the pond wouldn't be the best fit for her. Keep your eye out for our little black furry character, our little black furry friend. From high in the branches, a voice echoed down. Well, then I'll be your friend, bellowed Big Squirrel Brown. We can pack up a picnic of hazelnut pie. Go up side by side till we're touching the sky. Oh, you're too kind, replied Mouseling. We'd have such a nice time. I do like nut pie, but I'm too scared to climb. Oh, goodness. I guess that won't work either. Do you see her little friend hiding? Zoom in and tell me where he is. Yeah, he's right behind her, but she hasn't noticed yet. Owl Hooty, she wanted to soar through the sky, but as everyone knows, of course, mouselings can't fly. Batty Fangs, he wanted to stay up till dawn, but even the thought of it made Mouseling yawn. Just hearing that word made me have to yawn. She stared at the sky with her eyes big and wide. Can you make your eyes big and wide? Would she ever find one who could stay by her side? And as dark came in shadows and rain dropped in drips, this mouseling ran out of her scurries and skips. So she sat very quiet in her silvery fur. No one seemed perfectly matching for her. Poor baby. What is it called when you don't feel like you have anyone with you? Do you know what that's called? The word that comes to my mind is lonely. That's when you might feel like you don't have anyone to share something with, or you're longing for a connection with someone. I think Mouseling is feeling kind of lonely. Let's see if it gets better for her. It seemed in this world she was out on her own. Deep in Wintermouse Wood, she felt quite alone. Poor little thing. Oh no, friends, and look, I see a tear coming out of her eye. How do you think she might be feeling? Probably sad, yeah. Oh, what do you see shining a light inside the little hole in the tree? Her little buddy. She just hasn't met him yet. But someone had heard her side-by-side song, someone who'd been around all along. He popped up his head from a very small hole, a teenyful, weeny-miss little black vole. He was awfully quiet and terribly shy, but he couldn't hear mouse-really tears and stand by. What a kind friend. And now we know what kind of animal he is. A vole. It's another kind of animal that lives underground and digs around underground to find its food. And look, he's bringing his little light over to Mouseling, and he's got his arm outstretched, and he's going to touch around the shoulder and say, "Hey, I'd love to hang out." That must have taken a lot of courage, because this little friend was described as shy and quiet. Being shy and quiet, you can still be a very wonderful friend. He peeped, "I'll be your friend," and he gave her a wink. "Shall we dance ourselves happy? What do you think?" "We can make up some songs," he said, stroking his chin. "Perhaps all of the wood will want to join in." What a fun idea! I love the idea of dancing ourselves happy. That is a good strategy to remember if you're feeling down. Oh, this was her other. They'd make a great pair. If only she'd noticed he'd always been there. And now that they'd met, there was so much to do. They could do all the things you can do as a two. As a two, it's another way to say a pair or a couple of friends. They could seesaw, play catch, and sit back to back. They could hide in their den and share a nice snack. They could sit and hold paws until daylight was gone. Yes, two little tails are much better than one, especially if you were looking for a friend. Let's take a quick peek and see what is their snack. They even eat some of the same things. What do you see that they're eating? Yeah, they're sharing some kind of nut or some kind of seed. It looks like maybe a walnut inside its shell. I see little mouse and little vole nibbles right out of the side. They were peas in a pod. They were birds of a feather. They were always best friends, whatever the weather. Ooh, tell me about the weather in this page. What time of year do you think it might be? Maybe you think it's cold? What made you think that? Can you tell me what made you think that? Yeah, I see snow too. I see snow, and there's no leaves on the trees, and part of this pond where the frogs lived is covered in ice. Those were very good ideas, good clues. Two wonderful ones had found a forever, and forever is great when you spend it together. And now, side by side, they heard the same tune, so they sang to the stars and they danced to the moon. Yes, deep in the heart of Wintermouse Wood, a friend by your side makes life twice as good. Oh, look at that. What beautiful friends. The end. I really loved that story. And you know what else I loved? Sharing it with you. Reading stories together is one of the ways we can feel connected to our friends and family and the people who support us. Thank you for coming to read the story with me today. You know what I'm going to remember from this story? Mouseling's little friend Vole, his idea to dance ourselves happy. I might have to use that next time I need a way to cheer up. Thank you for coming to read with me today. You can find Side by Side and every story we've shared on Story Station at wordsalive.org Story Station, or look for us on YouTube, where you can also find a playlist of all of our Story Station's stories. Read aloud, Words Alive SD. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time. Until then, happy reading. Bye bye.